But moving on, and speaking of things to love, I'm sure Raptors fans are loving their Toronto Raptors as we slide into the wrap it up segment, which is just, kind of touching base and seeing what's going on with your Toronto Raptors. And the Raptors, they were so close to setting a record themselves in the month of February, as they're so close to setting a record themselves in the month of February as they needed to win by 14 to set the NBA record for best average point differential in the month of February. But they won by 13 instead of 14. So they just missed out on that. But that still doesn't take away of the great month that they had. Historic 9-2 record, and 8 of those wins coming by 13 plus points. So undoubtedly best start so far franchise history. As of right now, they're still in first place, but they're like a half game up on Boston, depending on results tonight, because I think Boston plays tonight, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, still a great year for the Raptors, Webby. So there's a lot of talk going on about, DeMar, is he in the MVP race? There's a lot of talk about, is Coach Casey Coach of the Year? There's a lot of talk about how great the Raptors bench is. Are they the best unit in the league? So I'm asking you, Webby, what is the biggest reason for the Raptors' success this year? And there's no half step in here and saying, well, it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, right.
The biggest implies that this is at the top of the list. Who are you giving the most credit to? What is the biggest reason for the Raptors' success this year, Webby?
Masai Ujiri.
Ooh. Okay. Explain.
Because this culture reset was Masai Ujiri's call.
Mm-hmm.
This plan was his.
Yeah.
And not only has it been executed just about flawlessly, I mean, so far, here in the regular season, it seems to have been working flawlessly.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the success we're basing it on. But all of the things that you mentioned, the coach and Masai sticking with Casey and believing that he could be in charge of this,
mm-hmm.
The bench and the way that this bench has been created through everything from the draft to free agency to how about undrafted free agents?
Yeah.
And then you look at the stars, the contract extension for DeRozan and Lowry, and the way that they've taken on the roles that have been asked for them to do. It all comes from the top. It all comes from the side.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great point made by you for sure. I mean, a lot of credit obviously has to go to Masai Ujiri because, as you said, the culture reset was amazing. And, with you picking Masai, it's interesting. I'm going to say it's a Raptors bench. And I know that that's kind of like a play off of Masai because he's the one that had the faith in them and put them together. But I'm going to give a lot of credit to this crew of Freddie VanVleet, DeLon Wright, Pascal Siakam, Jakob Poeltl, and CJ Miles. What these guys are doing are crazy. This from Zach Lowe today. Zach Lowe put out that a total of 95 five-man lineups have logged at least 100 minutes this season. The best net rating / point differential among all of them is Toronto's bench mob, outscoring opponents by almost 28 points per 100 possessions. That is crazy. Masai is the master. He's pulling all the strings. He's pulling all the right strings, obviously. But these guys are going out there night after night as kids, and they know their roles. They know how they have to play to get minutes, and they're doing it. And it is crazy to watch them every night. It's almost like watching a college team. Or, you know what? People from Toronto might understand this, but it almost takes me back to my high school days when you'd watch Eastern Commerce High School, because what they would do against other teams is they would press you and they would up the pace of play, and other teams just wouldn't be able to keep up and they'd run you out of the gym. And I kind of get that feeling when I'm watching the Raps bench because they're just so active on defense. They're so active on the boards. They'll grab a rebound and Freddie gets the ball and his head's up automatically and he's looking for outlet passes to try to find whoever down the court, whether it's a guy like Siakam who can grab the rebound and bring the ball up himself. You got DeMar calling him their Draymond, which is like high praise. But what this bench is doing is crazy. Like, they are definitely, to me, the biggest reason for the Raptors' success this season. And, I don't know how that's going to translate into the playoffs. I keep saying that I don't think full bench units matter. And why I keep saying that is because there's going to be such an emphasis on who gets the minutes come playoff time. And I think when I see something like this, when I'm watching the bench unit play, all I keep thinking is these guys got to get more minutes, right? Like, even if that's to the detriment of Serge Ibaka, who's, he's hot and cold, but I think I'd rather just see more minutes split between Yak and Pascal. Like, even what Freddie and DeLon are doing, I would even take more of Lowry's minutes. I mean, now there's no excuse for Lowry come this playoff, right? Like, if he's playing bad, you got to pull the plug and you got to go to Freddie or DeLon, right?
See, I disagree.
Oh,
I think that you have to stick with what's been working. And if you try to change it up too much in terms of, replacing this guy's minutes with that guy's minutes and trying to piecemeal this together, I don't think you're going to have the same success as you have having this, like you say, the bench mob playing as well as it does. Because it's not apples for apples. Like, you can't just replace Siakam's minutes with Serge Ibaka. I don't think that that's going to work. I think that you have to have faith that you can have this bench unit work on its own and keep the starters as they are.
You bring up a very interesting point, because I think one of the things too is how well would Siakam or Pirtle play beside JV, right? I don't know how well that works. I mean, you're probably right. I think the most success that Serge has comes beside JV, and the most success that Yak has is with Pascal for sure. But with that said, man, I don't know, just the intensity that these guys give. And I know that the bench now provides a good change of pace, but I keep thinking at a certain point, don't you just roll with that? Like, I don't know. And maybe I need to listen to my own words more, because I'm the one that's saying enjoy the bench for what it is and enjoy the development. And it's not necessarily about what the outcome is this year, but maybe the outcome of what the Raptors do next year and the year after that, when these guys develop into better players. But I don't know, man. Watching Siakam play, the way that this guy plays, it's all energy, it's all hype. He's always going, he's always making turnovers, and he looks so much more confident now. Like, you see him get the ball on the wing, and he's just making one jab step and driving to the basket, and it's fun to watch, man.
When you pair him with Pirtle, they just play to each other's strengths so much.
That's true. That is true.
It's like freaking frack out there. It's what one guy kind of lacks, the other one makes up for it. It's the perfect formula that they have going. And to, like you say, we've got to just sit back and enjoy this evolution of this bench mob and really trust that this culture reset was put into place, and they're going to be going for it. They have the right coach in there, and they even have the right combination of veterans who are playing starters minutes to set up everything for it.
Yeah. It's so true. And you know what else too? Like, it's just a reminder to enjoy this regular season. Because I feel like Raptors fans are almost like how Philly fans are getting ahead of themselves, thinking that, oh, do we really need LeBron? As if that's a question. I almost think like Raptors fans are getting ahead of themselves, because Raptors fans, I don't know if they're enjoying this season as much as they should be. Like, so much focus is going towards the playoffs already. And it's like, wait a second. 4 years of making the playoffs and, getting past the first round twice doesn't mean that all of a sudden the regular season doesn't matter, right? Like,
exactly.
To Raptors fans, I'm saying, right? Like, we're talking and we're like analyzing the season, and, NBA pundits can say, hey, nothing matters until you hit the playoffs. But I'm saying, as fans, when I'm watching Raptor games right now and the crowd's like sitting down during the game, or the crowd's really quiet when they're like blowing other teams out of the gym, I'm kind of like, wait a second, why isn't the crowd up cheering? Why isn't the crowd enjoying this? Like, there's no way that the crowd can be just that, like, quote unquote, used to winning by now. Like, you're just unfazed by the season that you're having. Like, no, that can't happen, right?
It has been really weird. And you can tell when you watch the team on TV, you can hear the lack of the crowd. You can hear the silence, man. It's deafening through the television. Super
weird. But yes, enjoy the regular season, enjoy the wins, enjoy, the chase of becoming first overall, because whatever happens in the playoffs is going to happen in the playoffs anyways. I'm saying, like, for me as like someone that analyzes the NBA, I'm saying, I think, They're still not getting past the Cavs, but whatever. But that's even, to me, more reason to enjoy the wins now in the regular season, because here's a reality check, right? The Sonny Weems years aren't that far away, right?
That's right.
The Joey Graham years aren't that far away. The Jamario Moon years, they're not that long ago, right? So remember those craptastic teams and now watch this team and just enjoy what's going on right now in the regular season. Whatever happens in the playoffs, happens in the playoffs. But don't set your playoff expectations too high. Just enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride, Raptors fans, as you continue to watch your team lead the Eastern Conference, right?